everyone, it's Macy here. Welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about some makeup brushes that I did receive in the mail. They are called Zoreya makeup brushes. This is a 15-piece rose gold professional makeup brush kit that I wanted to do like a little test and little like first impression on. I am going to be using these brushes with my general entire makeup routine today, so I want to give you an overview of how I feel about these brushes. This is actually the first time I've ever used brushes from this brand. I've never really heard about the brand before before they reached out to me, so I definitely want to see, you know, if it's worth it. We are going to be using the brushes for today's makeup routine, and I'm going to give you kind of an overview of the brushes itself, kind of my preference when it comes to brushes and the brushes that I use, so you can kind of have a comparison of these brushes versus some other brushes that I've used before, and maybe even just give a first impression slash overview in the end of how they worked, and maybe if some worked better than others, if it's worth the price or not. So let's get into the video. And they came in this like box right here. Really nice, not too cheap looking or anything. Looks nice. And it also comes with a little pamphlet, which I think is really interesting. Not a lot of brushes come with pamphlets about the brushes itself, and it has like an overview of all the brushes that you get in here. Gives you like a cleaning guide on how to clean the brushes right here, so that's kind of nice. And then the brushes itself come in a nice pouch. It has like buttons there so it closes, which is kind of nice. And then whoop, a little kabuki came out, and so I can't hold these. Let's see. Okay. And so there are all the brushes it comes with, and it has like a little zipper right here. And it just folds all together like in a trifold. And then you can close it back up if you want to travel with it. I think the Kylie brushes, like the silver edition that she brought out, the $300 brushes, I feel like that came in a really weird package. Yeah, her brush set, the $360 brush set, like the packaging for that looks so much cheaper than this one here. It's I don't know if it's real leather, but it feels pretty good and it feels pretty sturdy. I actually might use it for some other brushes as well if I like some more than the others. So, but this one you get 15 for, on their website it's $69.99, and then I actually saw on Amazon as well for $20 and free shipping if you have Prime. So then for 15 brushes for $20 you're getting each brush for about $1.33 each, which isn't too bad. If you're just starting with makeup, then that's pretty good. For me, I do have a good amount of brushes already, but we're gonna see today if this works out with my general makeup routine. So let's get started on our makeup. So let's get started on our makeup. I have nothing on my face right now. Okay, so let me go through the pamphlet real quick. Some of the features: 15-piece brushes, ultra soft synthetic bristles, clean and easy to store, sturdy whitewood handle with rose golden aluminum ferrule, and 100% cruelty free. In this set you're getting a Kabuki brush for mineral powder, powder brush, blush brush, foundation brush, dual fiber brush, brow comb brush, blending brush, short eyeshadow brush, angled shadow brush, shader brush, flat eyeliner brush, eyebrow brush, concealer brush, eyelash and brow wand brush, and a fan brush. So those are all the brushes that we're gonna get. They all kind of come in the package. There's one of the brushes. This is the powder brush. Pretty soft. Feels a little flimsy, but rounded. Okay. I actually used the foundation brush for my foundation, and I went on really streaky. So what I did was I took my It brush 15 Complexion Perfection brush, and I just buffed it out because it was getting too streaky and I did not like it at all. I usually kind of use them to help with my concealer, help blend that out. So we're actually going to use that with my concealer today, and I'm actually going to use the little concealer brush to grab concealer. Such a tiny concealer brush. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. It looks more like a lip brush than it does a concealer brush. I am going to use the dual fiber brush and then the foundation brush on both sides to see how well it blends. I don't know, I don't see it blending that well at all. I guess it's not too bad. It's not too streaky right now. Not as streaky as when I used my foundation with it. But it does seem to kind of take a lot of product because all I did was use it once. This is my first time. So I'm going to use the stippling brush on the other side and see how that one works. I usually use stippling brushes for my concealer because I feel like it blends it out really, really well. This is not too bad. It's a lot, seems like there are a lot more bristles than the e.l.f. one that I use. I use the e.l.f. stipple brush right here, which is very similar. But you can kind of see that the Zoreya has a little bit more bristles and seems like a little more dense. It is a little bit pokey, I guess, compared to the e.l.f. To use the powder brush. And I'm going to powder. A little too flexible for me and flimsy feeling. I use my Real Techniques powder brush. This is what I love a lot, and this is really smooth, really soft. This one's a little bit more flexible, but I don't know why, because you would think you'd want something like more fluffy instead of flexible. Well, the Kabuki brush kind of feels the same as well, but it's a little bit more, feels a little bit more a little less flexible as compared to the other powder brush, so I actually like this one better. But you can do this for a lot of things. Okay, I'm going to use the blush brush and just grab some blush. Use that. Oh, not bad. I like it. Goes on pretty nicely. I would say it doesn't go on very pigmented. This is what I usually use for blush too. This is the Morphe E4. This is their Elite collection. And I'm just gonna take some and put it on the side. I don't know if you can see. I definitely do see a difference with the amount of blush that goes on. Oh, it feels very flimsy as well still. But not too bad. Not a bad brush at all. And let's try this for highlighting because I don't know how I feel about this little fan brush here. Ooh. You can kind of see the brush itself looks like it's not really going on. Like it's like kind of falling. It's like moving around. It's not very stiff. I'm gonna use my Morphe brush as well. See how that works. And this one's more flat. This one actually stays stiff, which is nice. You can see the glow. Definitely see the same amount of glow on both sides, so you're not really like losing out on the glow. I guess it's more of the application process. I feel like this is definitely really stiff, whereas this one is very flimsy, I guess. You can kind of see it moving around. And I can't really get the top of the brush on my face. It kind of just moves around really flimsy. So there's that. I believe we are all set with all the face brushes. I would say out of all this, I do like the stipple brush, the little dual fiber stipple brush, the blush brush, and then the Kabuki brush is like it's okay. It's not the greatest. I already have a powder brush for all over, but honestly, this isn't as bad. I feel like this one is a little too flimsy, and then this is a little bit not as flimsy. It's a little bit denser. I do like the blush brush. I am gonna continue using it because it fits really nice in my cheekbones. But I do have like other blush brushes as well that I use. So I mean, if you don't need one, this isn't a definite. You don't need to have it. And also, same thing with this one here. It's just your ordinary stipple brush. It's not great. I do have the one from e.l.f. already that I use. It was $3, and I mean I have two of them already, so I don't really need this one. But if you're just starting out for the face brushes, I would say, I mean 3 out of 3. So, I mean, it's up to you. But I didn't like the foundation brush. It seemed to go on very streaky, even with my concealer and with my foundation. It did seem to kind of collect a lot of foundation in the brush itself. Like, that's all foundation, and the bottom there is just like the brush. So these are too flimsy, and I don't think they're stiff enough for me for using. Plus, again, you know, I'm going to go back and say that I do have a lot of these brushes already, and I do feel like I have brushes that are a lot better than the ones I didn't like. But again, they are pricey. Like the Morphe brush that I have for the fan brush, I think it's about $5 or $6. And then the Real Techniques powder brush is, I would say, $7 or $8. So just note that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the eyebrow brush. This is an angled brush, and I'm going to use it for my eyebrows. I'm going to use my Anastasia brow pomade. And this brush seems actually very promising. It's pretty stiff, which is what I like to use when it comes to eyebrow brushes, so that it goes on really precise and I don't have to fuss around with it moving around too much. So we are going to try that. I don't use pomade anymore. I use my Stila like marker kind of to apply brows, so I'm not really used to using a angled brush for my brows anymore. It's actually very nice. I am happy with that because it's stiff enough where it goes on and it does apply it, but it's flexible enough that it spreads it out evenly and doesn't look too harsh. I do have the Anastasia brush as well. The Anastasia is pretty good. It's also very stiff. They actually both feel pretty similar. The Anastasia is definitely a lot stiffer, but like I said, I actually feel like this one here is blending it out really well because it's not as stiff, but it's stiff enough to apply the product on precisely. I mean, we have these two brushes here for like the brows, but I don't really use them. I mean, this is fine. It's not like, you know, it's just your average. It's just your average spoolie, so nothing too special. And this here I don't really use, so that's like, you know, I'm not gonna use that. Alright, so we have the eye brushes left, which are all of these here. I'm not going to be using the flat eyeliner brush. I don't really use these. From top to bottom, the blending brush, the short eyeshadow brush, the shader brush, and then the angled shadow brush. This one seems more like a concealer brush to me. It's flat, super flat. And we're just going to be using my trusty Morphe palette today because I know the shadows look great and come off really well, so we're gonna go in with just a nice brown shadow here as our crease. This blending brush is really stiff. Actually, it's not very easy to blend or or very flexible. I would think that like something like eye brushes should be more flexible than the face brushes. A while for the color to build up, but it's definitely, you know, coming along. Bigger blending brushes that I have kind of just go all over my eyelid. So like these are the two compared. It's a lot smaller, but this one's actually really big. It goes all around my eye, as you can see, but it also blends it really well. This one here, it's a little bit more precise, I would say, and it's not as blendable. It's very stiff. It would be better as a brush that you need for the crease instead of blending. So if you're using it for the crease, that'd be great, which we are going to do. I'm going to use this for the crease so you can kind of see how it looks. Crease. Yes. You can see that it's like a lot stiffer, and it's easy to build up the crease with this brush, so I would kind of call this more of a crease brush than a blending brush, which I do like that a lot as just a regular crease brush. Have the angled shadow and then the shader brush. I'm not really quite sure what to use an angled shadow brush for. I mean, I guess you can use it for a deeper cut crease, I guess, but I feel like it's not as precise because it's like angled. There's not a lot of control, but you can definitely use it to help carve out the crease, which is nice. I like that as well. You can see like the crease is really carved out. So I actually really like this brush as well because, like the angled shadow brush, because I can blend the sides, and then when I go into my eye socket, it's thin enough that it kind of creates a thin shadow crease up here so that it's more precise and it's more and you have the control over it. So I did my other eye. You can see, like, when I blend, I can blend into this crease and then go in the middle of my eye, and it's actually thin enough to get my crease and to really carve it out without trying too hard. And last but not least, I'm going to be using the shader brush. This one is the one that I said it's very stiff. I don't know why, because I'm used to shader brushes and shadow brushes being not as stiff as this one. This is their short eyeshadow brush. This one here is not as stiff, but it's really fat. I don't really know why. So I think the short shader brush might be a little too big for my eyelid, but we'll try it. I'm gonna use just a light beige, pinkish color on my eyelid. I mean, the color is there. I don't think it's that great. Use the shader brush now on the other side. One here, I actually like this one. This is dense. It can pack on color. This is to pack on concealer too, because it does feel like a concealer brush to me, which is why I'm so confused. But that's not too bad at all. Okay, so this is the finished look for the day, and I really like my eyeshadow. I'm just really happy with it, and honestly, like, it's, oh, my eyelashes. Honestly, I'm really surprised at how my eyeshadow went on. I'm not sure how well you can see. Let me just make it a little bit darker. I'm not sure how well you can see, but I love my eyeshadow, and I'm so surprised because I did not think I would like the shadow brushes as much as I would have the face brushes, because the face brushes really looked promising to me, but unfortunately I only really like 3 of them. I will probably continue to use the other 3 that I don't like, but just once in a while. Going into the eye brushes, I'm still very shocked at how much I like these, but let's go through the ones that I don't like first. I mean, I don't really need a spoolie. I already have one, multiple on my eyebrow brushes and my eyebrow pencils, so I don't need that. I don't really use this kind of brush either, which kind of sucks. The concealer brush was really tiny. I don't know why it's so small. I mean, the only thing you can really do with this is like precision concealing, like, and that's the only thing I can think of, because I mean, it could be a lip brush too, because it is thin enough and really stiff, but at the same time, I don't really use lip brushes and my lips are kind of big, so I feel like that's not really useful. And the last but not least, the other one I don't really use, I guess, is a flat eyeliner brush. I mean, I feel like the angled eyeliner brushes are like kind of similar, so I usually use the angled one to give me a better wing liner, but I use liquid liner, and this one here, you know, I'm not going to use this, so that's a bit of a flop too. So I have 5 brushes, 5 eye brushes that I love so much, actually, because the brow brush, it actually really blended the pomade really well on my eyebrows. I actually did use my Stila Stay All Day brow color. This one here. This one is like a marker, felt tip marker shape. And what I did was I actually just outlined my eye to kind of make it look more precise. But this brush really filled in my brows really nicely. It looks so even on all sides, and it blended it really well, a lot better than the Anastasia one I had. So I really love this brush. And this one is actually really strange. This is the short eyeshadow brush that I tried my eyelids earlier. This one here, it's actually really flat. I don't know if you can see. It's really flat and it's really dense, and it just, like, it's kind of squared. So what I did earlier was actually used it to contour my nose, because I feel like it's a really good contouring brush. Kind of like how you would contour your face with something flat like this. Like, it looks just like it, it's just a smaller size, because I usually use my Lorac brush here to contour. And this little guy here, it's actually really good for contouring your nose. I usually just use a regular flat brush, one like this, to contour my nose. This is like a oval shadow brush that I got at Target for like a couple bucks, and that's what I've been using to contour my nose. But actually this is really nice because it's squared, it's precise, it's flat, and it's really dense. So I'm going to start using that to contour my nose. And the last three brushes, I really love the blending brush. Not really for blending though. It's kind of weird. A lot of these brushes I'm using for other things, but you know, that's the beauty of just brushes. They do have suggestions of what you can use with the brushes and what you can do with the brushes. But for me, I love this so much more as like a crease brush. As you can see, I got my crease really, really well. It's really dense. It's really, it really packs the color, but I wouldn't use it for a blending brush. I would use my other ones to blend a light brown shadow on my lid as a base. And this one here I'd use as a darker crease shade to kind of amplify the color and make it my crease a lot darker. So that's, I really do love that. The angled eyeshadow brush, I would say it's also amazing too, because it gets my crease, but it also like kind of outlines my crease, as I mentioned earlier, really, really well, because I don't have much of a crease. So it'll blend out here, and when I bring it in here, it helps, it kind of outlines my socket, and it helps to define the crease a lot better. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that really well, but I'm trying. I don't know what else to say really. So I really love that. And the shader brush here, this is really, really dense. It feels like a concealer brush. I might just use it as a concealer brush, but it did pretty well packing on color. I might just use it as concealer on my eyelids if I wanted to like put concealer on my lids for a more defined cut crease. But as a regular shadow brush, I do wish it were more flexible, because I'm kind of used to shadow brushes, like all over shadow brushes being more flexible. This one is the medium shadow brush by Sephora, and you can kind of see it's a little bit more fluffy than this one here. So I don't know. Oof. So yeah, but that is my overview on all of these brushes. I actually loved it a lot more than I thought. I kind of felt like they kind of felt a little cheap to me. Granted, it is $60, $70 on the website. It is $20 on the Amazon, on Amazon itself. But I'm kind of blown away from the eyeshadow brushes. I feel like my eyeshadow hasn't looked this good in a long time. I do usually use Morphe brushes, Techniques, Elf, so I stay cheap. I don't really go for Sigma brushes or anything too expensive. I would say the face brushes in this kit is they're a little mediocre. If you're just starting out with makeup, I would say go for it. 20 bucks, you get all the brushes you need. I mean, except for a face brush. I do think that they need to put a buffer, like flat top brush in here, because everyone uses that nowadays, and not a lot of people use a regular, like traditional foundation brush. But overall, I love it. I love the eyeshadow brushes. My eyes have never looked better, and you know, the face brushes aren't that bad as well. So if you're looking for a good a brush set that's fairly inexpensive, definitely go for it. The eyeshadow brushes are amazing. If you have brushes already that are from Morphe, from Real Techniques, from the drugstore, Ulta, anything, or even from Sephora, I would say pass on this set, because a lot of the brushes I have now are very comparable, if not better, than the set. But I don't know. I mean, $20, I kind of would just buy it for the eyeshadow brushes, because the eyeshadow brushes really, really worked well for me, and I'm just still shocked, I guess, because it's 20 bucks, and you wouldn't normally think that, compared to like $5 for one Morphe brush, for one Morphe eye brush. So like all my Morphe brushes are, eye brushes are probably like go up to maybe $20, $40, $50, because each one of them is so expensive. But I mean, if you're just starting out, go for it. 100%. Buy the set. If you have face brushes that are amazing already, and eyeshadow brushes that are amazing already, then you don't need this. So that's all I'm going to say. I am so happy and thankful that they sent me a set to try out. And again, I'm going to give you my honest review. You know, I didn't like some brushes. I did like a good amount of the brushes itself. It's fairly inexpensive, and I did enjoy it. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to help. And thanks for tuning in and checking out today's review. Hope to see you next time in my next video, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.